Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to talk about administration of contracts. Before continuing contracts, let me introduce what is a contract. A set of promises forming consideration for each other between two parties is an agreement. An agreement in writing which is enforceable by law is contract. Which is not enforceable by law is void. So, contract procedure involves preparation of well defined and properly worded tender documents, obtaining competitive offers from trustworthy contractors, accepting the most reasonable offer and concluding the contracts, operating the contract during execution to finalization, settling disputes if any through arbitration. This is the brief procedure involved till completion of the execution and settling disputes later on. When we see administration of contracts, the first step is GE will place work order on contractor and hand over site for execution of work after submission of performance security by contractor, indicating therein date of commencement and completion of work, phasing if any also. So, simultaneously a letter is addressed to the contractor to pass on instructions on following aspects to ensure smooth and timely commencement of work. The details passed on to the contractors are appointment of engineer in charge, submission of CPM chart, contractors supervision and organization, address of official communication with the contractors, stores, site office and labor camp, MES water and electric supply to the contractor, tools and plants, stores materials, labor hold up in works. Administration of contracts involves fulfillment of main contractual obligations by the department. Some of them are: firstly, immediately on acceptance of tender, the obligations are issue of work order and handing over of site, nominating engineer in charge and asking contractor to make preliminary arrangement to commence the work. Next, to finalize critical path, then finalization of yardstick for lump sum contracts, to finalize firm exact quantities for provisional schedules, obtaining samples from the contractor. Next stage of execution of work. In this, obligations are thorough study of contract provisions and specifications, approval of samples of material and fittings, fixtures, placing variation in quantity, deviation orders for provisional schedules. Next, timely finalization of deviation orders and amendment to contract if any, decision of competent authority in disputed matters, acceptance testing of materials and verification of purchase vouchers and test certificates, maintenance of work site documents, then exercising checks and quality control, recording measurements in measurement schedules, services as the work proceeds, to keep close watch on progress of work and deviation from contract provisions. So, one of the procedure involves in giving decisions is by accepting officer is intention of contract. Several documents forming the contract are to be taken as mutually explanatory to one another, detailed drawings being followed in preference to scale drawings and figure dimensions in preference to scale. In case of discrepancy between schedule A, the bills of quantities, the specifications and or the drawings, the precedence used is description of schedule A, bill of quantities, next particular specifications, next drawings, general specifications. If there is varying or conflicting provisions made in one document, the accepting officer shall be the sole deciding authority with regard to the intention of the document, and his decision in this respect shall be final and binding. Next aspect is deviation orders. Deviation orders approved by accepting officer shall be placed by GE in writing on the contractor. Pricing of deviation orders shall be governed by condition 62 of general conditions of contract AFW 2249. Next, suspension of works. Suspension of works is exercised by GE on account of any default on part of the contractor or for proper execution of the works or part thereof for reasons other than default of the contractor or for safety of the works or part thereof. Next aspect is materials. Materials will be original which is procured from by the contractor. All orders, notices etc. to be given under contract shall be in writing. Next aspect is setting out the works. The GE or engineer in charge shall supply dimensioned drawings, levels and other information necessary to enable the contractor to set out the works. No work shall commence till the setting out is approved by the engineer in charge. Foundations. The contractor shall not lay any foundations until excavation of the same have been examined and approved in writing by engineer in charge. Covering in work. The contractor shall give reasonable notice in writing to the engineer in charge whenever any work is to be permanently covered or concealed. Next, approval of works by stages. All work embracing more than one process shall be subject to examination and approval at each stage thereof, and contractor shall give due notice in writing to the engineer in charge when each stage is ready. Execution of works. The work shall be executed in a workmanlike manner and to the satisfaction of the engineer in charge in all respects. Inspection of works. After completion of work, defect liability period of 24 months will be applicable in all normal works except 36 months for runway works, marine and harbour works, high altitude works and specialized works of hospitals and medical equipment. The completion of work will be certified by the GE as and when it is completed to the entire satisfaction of GE. As far as running account receipt payments are concerned, contractor may submit his claims for payment advances on account of work done and materials delivered in connection with measurement and lump sum contracts at intervals not less than 30 days for contracts of value less than 50 lakh and 15 days for contracts of value more than 50 lakh, provided the payment is due is not less than 50,000 after recording of joint measurement work done in MB. Final bills. Final bills duly accompanied by abstracts and vouchers etc. shall be submitted by the contractor in duplicate to be within 3 months of physical completion of work. Payment of those items of final bill in respect of which there is no dispute shall be made within the period of 6 months for contract amount not exceeding 5 lakh and 9 months for contract amount exceeding 5 lakh. Arbitration. Arbitration shall commence only after completion of the work as per the condition 70 of general conditions of contract and subpara 7 of tender page of contract agreement, which contains the arbitration clause. The award made and published by the arbitrator shall be final and binding on both the parties to the contract. Conciliation and dispute resolution board aspects are also covered by clause 71 of general conditions of contract and special conditions of contract respectively. Thank you.